Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Ich bin ein Berliner. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I call upon Chairman Khrushchev to halt and eliminate this clandestine, reckless, and provocative threat to world peace.
Different times that are exactly the same. Things never change, do they? Well, you're listening to At Odds. Apparently Nate's doing some engineering work. Steve is supposed to be doing that. Steve's our engineer. He's in the engineer booth. He can hear us, but he can't speak, which is good for all of us. He's wearing a Born to be Free t-shirt with his blue jeans. Looks good. Today's Thursday, November 5th, 2015. We are in the Freedom Studios on the 15th floor of Patriot Towers in Liberty City. Where at, Nate? Tuvalu.
It is.
Tell us about Tuvalu.
Tuvalu. It's a little Polynesian island nation. It's very close to Fiji in the Pacific Ocean. It is very nice here. There's a lot of Polynesians around.
Lots of fresh fish.
The island, and we've met all of them. There are 10,000. 10,000 people. It's a 10 square mile. So that's 1,000 people per square mile. That's a lot. Holy crap.
No wonder we're always bumping into each other here. Wow. Get out of my way.
Wow, that is a lot.
They do have rum, though. That's the best part. They make a great Mai Tai.
Yeah. Our math was right. According to the 2012 census, 1,142 people per square mile.
Yeah, but almost all of them are in 1 square mile. So if you get out of that square mile, there's nobody.
There's nobody, probably.
You know.
Not much water on this island.
It's all volcano.
But it's an island.
Yeah. I'm really sick and tired of you. I'm leaving. Where are you going to go? The other side of the island.
I can still see you.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Actually, it's yeah. No, I don't know. But
it's nice here.
It is nice. Very nice.
We're going to have a good show.
Oh, good news.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Never mind.
Go ahead.
News.
Good news what?
I was going to say the National Police Force here on Tuvalu. It's very helpful. Also, crime, not a problem because of the Council of the Elders that still meets on the island.
Yeah. Well, we had some issues with our hotel room with stuff being missing. And,
we did.
We came back into the room, and there were 2 hands that had been chopped off.
Yeah.
And left there with a note saying, "We got them." So we didn't get our stuff back.
And it did say we got them because one of the national languages of Tuvalu, English.
Yeah.
The other national language,
English.
Tuvaluian.
Oh, Tuvaluian.
I don't know. It's the Tuvaluan language or something. They also there's a language similar to Gilbertese.
Oh, Gilbertese.
Yeah.
I think I had that in freshman Gilbertese class at Harvard.
Harvard.
Used to hang around
Here's
Square.
a question. Why does this page have a history section and a pre-history section?
What page?
What is prehistory? The information page that I have here about Tuvalu. Because no, I don't actually just know this stuff off the top of my head.
Well, listen,
prehistory.
Prehistory could be the history that was happening before people started recording the history that happened after that point.
Then how did they know?
Well, because they can speculate. They could say there were no people here before that, so therefore nothing happened.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. They could.
No, they're talking about.
What I'm thinking is
talk about the geologic history.
No, it is not geologic history.
Oh,
well, yeah, maybe geologic. I don't know what that means.
Of course you don't. I don't know what a computer does.
Right.
So
we're a good
even.
team.
We're even. Yeah, it could be that. If you ever read a Michener novel,
no,
he usually starts out
novel. Right.
That's true.
I've read a novel.
That presumes you can read.
Read a novel. I can read.
Michener, good books. They start out with like the geology of the area that he's going to write a novel. So it goes from like the Silurian and Devonian up until modern times.
That sounds like the most boring reading I can imagine.
It's fascinating. Like Hawaii, he talks about the formation of the Hawaiian Islands.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah, that's exciting.
Centennial, he talked about the geology and the animals that were there in the Quaternary age on the prairies in North America 100,000 years ago.
So moving on.
I don't want to move on. I like talking about that. So that's what prehistory is, I think. Predates
no, not
mankind.
At all.
Okay.
The prehistory was what happened before it was before the Polynesians showed up.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Not actually how it was formed.
Well, I think they should have that.
Because there were people there.
Were they?
I don't know.
I don't think there was anybody there.
How do you know?
Because at one point there were no people, and then another point there are people.
Yeah.
We did talk about a suicide. Murder. Where's your shot? Damn it!
Oh, that's
What?
one of the scary movies, I think, where they're supposed to stab each other so they don't get caught.
Oh, yeah. But
the one guy stabs the other guy, and he's like, no, you're not stabbing me.
Yeah.
So,
what happens then?
no, just ridiculous things. And
Okay.
yeah.
Well, anyways, we've got a decent show. We've prepared for it for minutes. And we have, as always, our day in history and our presidential trivia question.
Yep.
I don't know. You want to talk about zero tolerance? Do you want to talk about... Wow. Crowds in here are really nice.
Yeah.
Want to talk about Sanders bashing Uber?
By the way, that's the same clap track that the Studio 10 in Australia that they use. It's the same clap track.
Yeah. Which we can no longer see because it's not available for
Banned.
people outside of Australia.
No, that doesn't say that.
Oh,
It says not allowed for people in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn Yankees.
What? Yeah, let's zero tolerance.
Yeah, so we've heard about and we've talked about the school policies on pointing your finger at somebody, playing cops and robbers.
Sure. Chewing a Pop-Tart in the shape of a gun.
Drawing a picture. Wearing a T-shirt that has, the National Guard on it with a picture of the gun. Or
carrying a map with Idaho on it.
Bringing in a machete and an AR-15. Those are all frowned upon.
Yeah.
And so...
no, look. In a lot of cases, all of those things end up with equal punishment.
Right.
I mean, that's what's ridiculous about it.
Real gun, imaginary gun, same punishment.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. Now, you used to think that this just happened in public schools, right? It was the indoctrination and anti-gun policy. And
well, it is.
But this story happened in a private Catholic school. Our Lady of Lourdes.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
It was a first grader, which is what, 6? 5, 6, 7?
I've never had a first grader.
And, yeah, you had. You never were in first grade. You dropped out in kindergarten.
I was in first grade for a couple of years.
And that worked out good. So, 6 years old, and he was playing some superhero or something. I can't remember exact things, but he was drawing an imaginary bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And they suspended him for 3 days.
Yeah.
And never really followed procedure and did much to do it. And the parents are kind of mad, thinking, well, we're going to pull the kid out of school next year. But they did finally send a letter that says, our policy is no tolerance for any real, pretend, or imitated violence.
Yeah, and he imitated some violence.
Yeah. But
or pretended it.
It's stupid, right? Please tell me it's stupid.
No, it's absolutely stupid. But I the way you opened the story talking about we thought it was public school isn't exactly. That's not the whole story, right? First of all, it was a Catholic school. The Pope's very, very liberal, so that doesn't surprise me. The difference is you have a choice whether to go to or not go to that private school, or to pay to give them money, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, other than if you're talking about charters and things, you don't, but that's another story too. A public school, you don't have a choice. It's funded by...
You kind of have a choice of school.
You don't have a choice of funding it.
No.
Right? And that's what I mean.
Oh, okay. Where do they get their dollars?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's all. If you're not getting any of my money and you're not harming me, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you teach, right? As long as I'm not forced to give you money or forced to send my kid to your school.
It would be interesting to see what the policies are for the so many Christian schools versus public schools, and if they just mirror it or not.
Right.
I would think private schools would have much more leeway in regards to discipline and all that. It'd be interesting to see. I'd like to. Yeah. I wonder if they just copy the federal or the state schools' policies on zero tolerance.
Right. Sure.
Apparently,
I don't know.
This Catholic school does.
Well, even worse, maybe.
Or
I don't know.
Worse.
I mean, I think there's probably a lot of kids in public schools that get away with drawing a bow and arrow.
Yeah. Well, that yeah.
But if they'd drawn a gun, they wouldn't in public school, right? But
depends on a lot of circumstances.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, we had something happen in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
School shut down because apparently some criminals were shot by a homeowner in the area. And
excellent, if that's really what happened. Excellent.
Running in the area, so for the students' safeties, they shut it down.
Yeah, they're apparently not on school property. It had nothing to do with the schools, except maybe the criminals were high schoolers at that school.
I hadn't heard
They were all between the age of 13 and 18.
Oh.
So they broke into a house near the school. Mm-hmm. The dude, I think... The homeowner shot two of them.
Wounded.
This is all alleged, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, wounded a couple of them. They ran into some woods. They found one up in a tree crying.
Well, I would be too.
It was probably the oldest of the group.
Might have been the one that was shot, and I don't know.
They arrested 8 people.
Wow.
8 people.
That's quite a
I don't know that they all...
gang.
I don't know... Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I don't know that they all went into the house. I don't know. I mean, one drove...
You got to have lookouts.
Well,
and a driver.
They arrested the guy that drove one of the kids that got shot, drove him to the hospital, so they arrested the driver there, too.
Well, moms demand action. We'll call this a school shooting.
Oh, absolutely. And that was already, I mean, that's pretty much how they opened everything, is shooting, high school on lockdown. Yeah. Okay, those are kind of true statements, but...
It's like my hometown newspaper in Traverse City, Michigan, which said 3 dead, shooting, 3 dead.
Gunman, or shooter. Yeah. Shooter kills 4, or whatever.
When it was the car accident.
Yeah, the lady that ran into the crowd at the parade with her car.
Yeah, it was a shooting.
And then they said, we missed it in editing, all 3 stages of editing and everything.
Whoops, our bad.
Sorry.
It wasn't intentional.
What we'll do, though, to make you happy is we'll put a little retraction on, 4th, 5th page of the paper.
No,
maybe.
They don't have that many pages. Page 2.
Page 2, which nobody reads.
Right. They just do the crossword puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's zero tolerance. Speaking of zero tolerance on politicians, we talked, I think, last week or the week before about good old Bernie Sanders bashing Uber because they're not regulated enough. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Well, come to find out, there was some research done by the National Journal, and they found that Sanders uses Uber 100% of the time for taxi service.
Yeah.
So, is that a mixed message? Is that hypocrisy? Is that... I don't know, maybe not. I guess you can use a product and say it's unregulated.
That it should be more regulated.
But he's supporting that company.
He doesn't think it's their fault, right? He thinks it's the government's fault. Apparently.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I mean, really, I don't think he has much of any principle to stand on anyway, so he'll support anything that he wants while also not supporting it, right? I mean, it's the Warren Buffett syndrome of the rich aren't taxed enough. Well, why don't you just kind of donate money, or maybe don't go to court to fight saying that you're overcharged in taxes if you're rich and you think the rich aren't taxed enough, right? I mean, that's what Warren Buffett did. Bernie